So what does this mean for our idiotic star of today's episode, Clive? Well, as someone who actively wants to pop his own stomach, there's a lot he can learn from
want to pop
professionals
their
like Joey
stomach?
Chestnut,
I mean, I know
both in
this is
terms of
theoretical,
what
but
to do
still.
and what not.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I will be reacting to food theory. Can eating too much food pop your stomach? I don't think it'll pop. I think it'll just hurt really bad. Cause like, it can't pop, right? I mean, it'll just like expand. I mean, it might expand until it pops. Dang it, the train. Tell me what you think. I don't know, if you've already seen the video, you don't have to comment anything. But subscribe. And if you're subscribed, tell me in the comments. Yeah, let's go. Oh, Kirby. He ate the whole
I
plate.
love what he's having.
I wouldn't recommend it, sir. Your stomach might explode.
Whoa, stomachs can explode?
Well, burst, but yeah.
How much food would I need in order to do that?
I don't know. Maybe you should make a food theory about it.
One step ahead of you, my man.
It's gonna... That's cannibalism. Yeah, and he already made a video on that. Season 2 of cannibalism, baby.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory,
Food
the show
Theory.
that's bursting with information. Theorists, over the past year, this channel has given me the opportunity to try lots of different foods, some more enjoyable than others. I've also found myself
Xmas
eating
tree, that
huge
was the weird
quantities
one.
of food. By the end of the Diet Soda Tournament episode, for instance, Steph and I felt like we were
I
ready to
haven't watched that
explode,
one.
which got me wondering, could we? Like, is it possible to eat or drink so much that the human stomach actually bursts? And I'm not alone in wondering this either.
don't
For
think so.
months, the Food Theory channel's been inundated with comments asking if overeating can pop a human stomach. And the short answer to that question is, yeah,
It
it's
can?
very common, but stomachs have been known to rupture as a result
can't
of
pop.
overeating. Why is it so uncommon? Well, contrary to what you may have seen on, say, Mythbusters' very first episode, when they attempted to blow up the stomach of a deceased pig using cola and Pop Rocks, bodies of living organisms have a bunch of ways to prevent that level of overeating
Yeah,
and
see?
stomach pressure. So let's pretend for a moment that some total weirdo out there wants to eat enough to make his stomach burst. Let's call him, I don't know, Clive with a K.
Clive.
My apologies to anyone out there named Clive with
Nah,
a K.
I
Anyway, if
doubt
Clive wants to
someone's
eat
named
so
like
much food
that.
that his stomach bursts, he's gonna be in for quite the battle. Not only against his own stomach, but also against his own brain. So get ready to fill up on some food facts, friends, because when it comes to stomach capacity, all food is food for thought. So let's start off with what we do know about the rare situations in which a person's stomach ruptures as a result of overeating. Case reports have found that these types of ruptures often occur when people eat about 5 liters
That's a
of
lot.
food. If that sounds like a ridiculous amount to consume, well, yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. In fact, it's more than 3 times as much food as you or I have likely ever had inside our own stomachs at one time in our entire lives. See, typical stomachs will stretch to hold approximately 1.5 liters comfortably. However, going past that point gets really uncomfortable really quickly, thanks to satiety
tell
signals
Taco
that
Bell
get
then.
sent to the brain as our stomachs stretch and ultimately
You can eat
result in
3
us feeling
tacos and
full.
spend half an hour in the
This is why
bathroom.
overeating to the point of rupturing your stomach is so rare. Usually when a person feels like they're so full they can't possibly take another bite, well, they can't take another bite. At least not without vomiting. And yet somehow a small percentage of people are able to push through that feeling of being full and continue to eat without puking it all up. Typically these people fall into one of 2 camps. A, they suffer from some type of neurological disorder that suppresses the urge, or
Is that
B,
good
they have
or
trained
bad?
very hard
I
to
think it's bad.
intentionally suppress those urges. That's right, friends, we're talking about the crazy world of competitive eaters, like the world record holder Joey Chestnut, 13-time champion of the Nathan's
Yeah, he was
Hot
in a
Dog
Mr.
Eating
Beast video.
Contest, who is regularly able to consume an estimated 4.5 liters of food and water or more. So what does this mean for our idiotic star of today's episode, Clive? Well, as someone who actively wants to pop his own stomach, there's a lot he can
Who
learn
would
from
want to
professionals
pop their
like Joey
stomach? I
Chestnut,
mean, I know
both
this
in
is
terms of
theoretical,
what
but
to do
still.
and what not to do. What he'll want to borrow are the training methods that professional eaters use to push through the brain's satiety signals. So first things first, Clive is probably going to want to fast for up to 3 days prior to his stomach popping attempt. This gets his appetite ravenously high, just like the pros do. Clive would also be wise to train himself to suppress his gag reflex.
No.
Vomiting, after all, would reduce the amount of material in Clive's stomach and lower the pressure of his stomach lining, the exact opposite of what we're looking to accomplish. How exactly did the pros train themselves to do this? As competitive eater Yasser Salem explains, quote, "A lot of the suppression training has to do with brushing my tongue really far back every morning and night. It's part of my daily routine." Yay! Being a competitive eater sounds so good. However, Clive isn't going to want to borrow every aspect of the competitive eater's training regimen. Competitive eaters focus a lot of their training on stretching their stomachs by, say, drinking a full gallon of water very quickly. For Clive, however, this is counterproductive. Ripping his stomach is the name of the game, so he's going to want his stomach as small and brittle as possible. And speaking of small stomachs, our stomachs can get very, very small. When completely empty and at rest, our stomachs shrink down to only hold about 2.5 ounces. That is 0.074
That's barely anything.
liters. As our body prepares
think
to
the
eat
I don't
and
know, like,
digest
the size
food,
of
it
this
goes
inner
through what's
circle.
called cephalic phase responses. These responses result in a variety of changes to our body, increasing stomach size and also increasing the production of digestive fluids. And here's the craziest part, friends. These responses don't wait for the food to actually hit our stomachs. They begin the moment that we even start thinking about food. So if Clive wants to take advantage of his stomach when it's at its absolute smallest, he's gonna want to surprise himself and his stomach with an impromptu food binge. Kind of like how I surprised myself with an impromptu Taco Bell fourth meal
See, that's what I'm
last night.
talking
And
about.
now I'm regretting that tremendously.
Taco
So no
Bell.
Clive, whose terrible decisions have led him to this moment when he's attempting to intentionally pop his own stomach, has just one final bad decision to make. What food should he pile onto his extra large plate? And he will need a massive
know,
plate. In terms of
hamburgers?
everyday foods, 5 liters works out to be 182 ounces of steak, 143 chicken nuggets, or a spaghetti noodle that is 1.7 kilometers long. But of all the foods available to him in the world, which will provide Clive the absolute best chance to rupture his stomach? Well, he should probably look into foods that digest very, very slowly. The slower a food digests, the slower it's going to exit the stomach, and the easier it's going to be for Clive to build that food up inside his stomach to the point that it
I did
pops.
not
What are
think
the
of that. I
slowest
don't know
digesting
why.
foods out there, you ask? Meat and fish, which can take up to 2 days to digest completely.
2 days?
So
I
I'm
ate-
gonna recommend the fish with the
I ate
bones
chicken,
left in.
right.
That's because fish bones, when swallowed, often puncture the organs around our GI tract, and that includes the stomach. Again, and I cannot stress this enough, do not be like Clive, friends. Swallowing fish bones is not safe, and Clive is well aware of this. He just doesn't care because he's an
Nah.
idiot. Anyway, if Clive can manage to puncture his stomach wall with a fish bone, that's only gonna make it that much easier for the stomach wall to rupture completely from all the added food pressure. Now, some of you might be wondering, what about foods that release gas inside the stomach? It would be a pretty effective way to build up the pressure inside Clive's stomach immediately, right? Blow the whole thing up like a balloon. After all, Mythbusters successfully popped a pig's stomach, which, as they explain in the episode, is quite similar to a human stomach, using the carbon dioxide released from baking soda. So, would gas be a more effective way to pop Clive's stomach than using
I mean-
solid food and liquid? Well,
My stomach would have already popped from drinking so much soda. Cause you know I'm Mexican. Soda, Coca-Cola, you know. You get it.
the answer to that is yes.
Oh, you
If
can.
and only if Clive has done his training and is able to suppress the urge to burp. And mind you, that is a big if. Think about it this way. Competitive eaters train extensively to prevent the contents of their stomach from escaping back
Oh,
up
I
to
know
their
that guy.
esophagus. For the most part, they're able to keep solids and liquids down no matter the circumstance. But as for gases, those naturally escape as part of the eating process. So if Clive wants to use expanding gases to help him in his quest, he absolutely can, but he should do it right at the end of his meal, as he feels fit to burst, because that'll provide a final push as his stomach is already at capacity, pushing him well past the point of satiety as chemical reactions happen in his gut, whether he wants them to continue or not. That train has left the station, friend. So with all of this in mind, I'm gonna suggest Clive take a two-pronged approach to his meal selection. He should focus on eating fish with bones included first. He should then follow it up with a couple spoonfuls of baking soda, just like Mary Poppins always recommended. Wait, did Mary Poppins
No,
not say
I
that a
d- I
spoonful
don't
of
think
baking
so.
soda helps the stomach rupture?
Cheeky.
And then wash the whole thing down with a nice tall glass of vinegar. A chemical reaction will occur that ultimately releases carbon dioxide gas. If he's
Yeah,
able to
but-
keep that gas down,
When I did the vinegar and baking soda, whatever he said, it only like fuzzed. It didn't really like pop or explode like Mentos and Coke. So would Mentos and Coke have a greater effect? I don't know.
live stomach should rupture just like the Mythbusters pig stomach did. However,
That's
in the
disgusting,
likely
man.
event that some belches occur and that
How's there
gas
no
pressure
blood?
gets relieved, roughly 5 liters of fish and fish bones will be his best bet at achieving his incredibly stupid, dumb, stupid goal, while also answering Theorist Nation's incredibly stellar question. But hey,
Your stomach
that's
after you're
just
eating
a
Taco
theory.
Bell.
A food theory. Bon appetit. Theorists, if you enjoyed today's episode, I highly recommend that you check out the grocery store thumbnail
Watched
on your
it
screen.
and liked it. That was a good video. Okay, but yeah, if someone paid you $1 billion, $1 billion, would you do this? Like, not necessarily like pop your stomach, right? But like, get where it like almost pops. Would you do it for $1 billion? I would not. I'm not crazy. I'm not insane. I'm not saying if you do it, you're insane. I'm just saying. I'm not saying if you do it, you're insane. I'm just saying. I'm gonna just end the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and I don't know. Don't forget to hit that bell. I know weird. I've never said that. But yeah, bye.